Look. Peace, everybody. What time is it? I'm 2 minutes behind. Forget my tardiness. But what's going on? The best dressed in this thing. Pressing him always. Shout out to everybody who came out to the lecture. I really enjoyed y'all. Had a good time. As usual, always run over. We was actually out there till probably like we started at 2. And then we didn't actually leave till around 8. But yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm actually going on Facebook real quick so I can catch that feed. It don't show me that one. So I want to make sure I can catch y'all comments real quick. I don't plan on being long. Just got a couple of things to say. But yeah, we're pretty much about to have a review over pretty much the things that we talked about in the class. I see y'all coming in. I appreciate y'all. Excuse the background noise. At the office up in North Florida. And yeah, but I was chilling in the A with my people, my family down there, and I had seen this one brother, peace and love family. I seen this one brother, he was doing podcasts and interviews, and he was clean as hell. I was like, I could do that. I for sure can do that. He was clean, and he was talking shit. I was like, I can do that. But it was it's the aspect of presentation and marketing and just branding. It's like you talk about money, you move in that capacity, there's no issue for you to look like it. But that also depends on what other individuals perceive as money, because a lot of people take jewelry and gold, big ass chains as money. And unless somebody know what they're doing with that shit, the moment you get it, that shit is devalued, it depreciates the moment you walk out the store with it. So unless you somebody who's intelligent like Derrick Grace and you know how to like get insurance on your gold and stuff, and you know how, or unless you have a very good banking connect and you can get safekeeping receipts and you can deposit these things and then leverage off of it, that's the only way that's really money. So we gotta renew our mindset. Man, let me get on this damn Facebook and stop talking off it. But yeah. Y'all in here. I appreciate it. All right, yeah. All right, I'm on this live now. Make sure I ain't no lie. Because a lot of people take jewelry. See. Okay, we good. Peace. Okay, so let's just go over how the event played out. And we had a full house. I appreciate that. Real shit. I really do. Y'all came, y'all showed out. It wasn't no more space in the parking lot. That shit was dope. And everybody who came out, they did receive, everybody who came out, I made sure that they got something for free on top of everybody got our credit repair letter. That letter is also in our 35-day class, the template. But I made sure everybody got a copy of it. That way they can see how it's worded. That way that they can start repairing their own financial situation. And everybody pretty much either got a book, one books, a game face shirt. I actually don't have none on me right now because I only have my personal ones. Or they got a oil, like a hair cream. And so I made sure that everybody received something free, and they also seen the aspect of how we brand and push business and how you bring something from A to Z, even in the aspect of which I had get my books. There's a class on like how we create books. It's very simple, but it's just understanding how I create this residual income and I'm able to pass this down to my children. And I spoke about it. Nas, a lot of people didn't know that Nas made his child pretty much a co-author on what was it, Illmatic, when she was a baby. So she gets royalties off of that for life. So in the music industry, that's through ASCAP and BMI. That's how you make sure that you get your royalties. And Lil Sis, she was out in the A2, and we do a lot of work together. She actually is like the CEO of Game Face Entertainment. She is very versed in the music industry, and she has sat down to get a consultation with me and her brother. And just because she's more knowledgeable in music than I am, I had her come step in so she could fill in some of the gaps. But I helped Sis to copyright her whole catalog And underneath the indigenous aspect, but it's completely everything's together. And she had like 40 something songs, so now she's completely protected as she's developed and she starts pushing her music out there because she has a really good catalog. She's just been waiting a very long time in order to put her music out there because when you deal in music, it will be almost 20 people on one song. So you have to make sure that every person contractually gets what they're obligated. That way that you don't get sued down the line, especially if your song end up taking off. And you also got to make sure that sometimes you get cleared for royalties and for other people's samples and things. So right now I don't see no questions. I just see everybody chiming in. All right. So first things first. I broke down the outline. I pretty much went over the whole UCC aspect. So I pretty much five main topics, same way how we dealt in the class. UCC, I don't have a form on me. Somebody was fortunate enough to pass me a form in the class. And I went over the beginning of the UCC form, so I'll break that down really quick. Is because this is video, you'll be able to go back and go and check on these things. Everybody's trying to call me right now. Okay, so in the box A, B, C, that is who you send acknowledgement to. And that will be, depending on the particular situation, it will either be the secured party or the debtor if you are trying to lien someone. So if you're doing it for yourself, the address that you will put in box C will be the address where you want your mail to go back to. Now, if you, let's say, if you have an issue with an officer, so you get pulled over and you felt like a trespass or a tort happened and you want to put a lien on this officer because you had all of your information in order, everything was together, and you felt like he was just being a dick. So what you would do is you would get this individual's badge number, and you would also get their name. You can, all this shit is public record. You can pull it up online. I've done it to people before. So you literally can go onto whichever city that they work for, and you can pull up their registry. And sometimes you can just call and you can ask for that officer's information, and then you will put their name in all caps, even if it's the alias, because they wear alias. They don't have their whole name on their badge. So it'll say an initial and then they'll say their last name. So what you do is you call and you get the first name, then you get their last name, and then you also put their badge number on there. And then you make sure as a sub debtor, the second debtor, you will put the police station, or you can choose to put the city. You really have the option, but then you also can add another debtor on the UCC3. So this right now, technically, we're still in the debtor box, which is box 1 and box 2. So right now, if somebody had an issue and you want to sue somebody without going to court, this is how we're doing this on the commercial lien process. So anybody in the class, you get into the 35-day class, we go to the UCC week. In the last section of the UCC week, there's a video on how to actually apply the commercial lien, and it's broken down very well. So, oh yeah, and just so you all know, I am doing one-on-one. So like we're on this platform right now, I'll allow other individuals to call in, and then you can express your business situation, and then we can break it down on video. You give your one-on-one answers, and also if you have a platform, it's great in order for other people to get introduced to it, so you can get some leverage out there. So I'm offering to share my platform with other individuals. So if you are interested in a one-on-one, please email me at atumworks@gmail.com. So also you can go to the website and you can send me a message in the chat box telling me that you want to do a one-on-one, and I will get with you immediately. And so I actually have a couple slots open before we start scheduling out for the following week. So make sure you get with me before everything get locked up. Peace, peace, peace. I see some of my family out here. What's going on? So mainly UCC, we go to the secure party. So everything in the debtor should always be in all caps, address, everything, USA, all of that. So that's box 1, box 2. You have questions, just reach out, because I'm about to run through this because it's pretty much a recap. I wish all of you all were able to make it out. I know some of you all had issues. That's the reason why I'm kind of just about to slide through this, because this shit could take all day, real talk. So we get past the secured party, which you will put in proper English. So it will be, let's say, DJ Jones Bay, D capital, and then the J will be lowercase. Last will be Jones Bay, because you can't fit Bay in the suffix. And then because you're usually mailing it in or doing it online, you'll put If you're mailing it in, you could put US or United States Republic. If you're doing it online, that's not an option. You must put USA. Therefore, we proceed to collateral. This is the part that confuses everybody. So your collateral box is just going to be the title of your affidavits, or if you're doing an online filing, you must upload all of your affidavits into a PDF file, and then you must drop it in there in order to upload it. That's the collateral. The affidavits should be pertaining to whatever the security agreement or loan agreement is. The security agreement, in most cases, for the straw man or the secure party creditor situation, that is usually the contract between you and that fictitious entity or that business. So within that instrument, it will state that you have the ability in order to control or operate on behalf of this business because it can operate itself. And then there's also an insurance policy attached to it, which is the fidelity bond. And in most situations, the way that most people UCCs are set up, they're using the birth certificate as the bond in order to back the situation. You can actually utilize or establish a bond that is funded by lawful tender, real money such as silver, which will be better because you actually be able to pull it out and actually leverage when it goes to the. And then if you establish the bond yourself, when you start running these things through the SEC, like all of this will be in the bond class. I thought my tech was going to release it this month. He decided that because he just released so much this month, he's going to release the bond class next month. And he run the website. I'm not here to debate with him. I just make sure that I build out the information so that you all can receive it. So next month, you all will have the bond/banking class available. So for you, excuse me for misspeaking previously. Now, let's get back to this business. Collateral, as it pertains to that collateral. Now, if it's a loan agreement, like I use this as an example. A lot of y'all who follow me right now, y'all probably follow Larry. So I'm recapping back from the class. Larry was there. Larry Wiggins Bay. That's my bro. Well, we've been rocking with each other for years. He do carrot bars and he also does Foresight. I've watched him grow and get money, and bro, he be moving around the way I was last year. So he be bouncing around. And like he pull up on me in Miami, he'll pull up on me in A. He missed me in DC like by a day. So like, bro, he out here getting it. And I'm thankful that he came and he reciprocated some energy with me out there at the event. And I was able to utilize him as a great example because let's say Larry Business, what is it? Why can't I remember that name? I can't remember, but let's just say, I can't remember that name right now. The company, his business. So, bro, let's say, Gold Gang. Gold Gang, I go to Gold Gang and I need $1 million loan because I'm trying to acquire this building that I'm in right now, right? So, Gold Gang technically don't have the $1 million to give me, but he has a hand and he has a signature in which he can endorse paperwork, right? And he also the homie, so he got all his business stuff established. He technically ain't got to loan me the money, but what we can do is we can facilitate a loan agreement between the two of us and stating that he will loan me $1 million and that I paid it off within a year's time frame. And we can also backdate it. So technically we can backdate it for 6 months and then we only got to run it for 6 months. So what it say that I had already paid him up for 6 months, so then we only running it for another 6 months. So you actually are only producing 6 UCC3s down the line. And I'm going to explain where that comes in. The main reason for this is because we're going to show monthly reporting. So this is going to create a revolving account. And this is how we're going to establish hard trade lines and attach this to the business profile for large amounts. So just utilizing the use. So this is why people, whenever somebody say the UCC isn't this, that's because their ass can't read well. That's the main reason why. I promise you, if there's ever an individual who told you the UCC isn't shit or it's not to be, they don't understand business, and 9 times out of 10, they probably don't even own their own car. So let's read and let's reestablish these contracts the way how we know, because we have to pretty much relearn everything that individuals have tried to teach us in the past, because that shit has gotten a lot of people locked up. So what we're going to do, the way I teach in my class, we're going to read the definitions and these codes. That way we don't have any misconceptions or misunderstandings. And this is how we operate. And then also, like I stated, the birth certificate situation, as it pertains to the UCC. As it pertains to the UCC codes, you legally cannot establish a bond with another bond. That's underneath UCC Article 3, commercial papers. It's in the class. Look up the definitions. So when I tell you this, you cannot make another bond off of your birth certificate the way it shows you in the redemption manual. That's the reason why I made the other video, the redemption killer, because that shit will get you in trouble. And there are some people who have had success, but that's only because they slid through the cracks because of other people's ignorance throughout, because they worded the paperwork very well. That's the only reason why. Because as it pertains to UCC contracts, statutes, and codes, with these people proposed as law, that shit's illegal. So we're not going to do that. If you want to get a bond, we have the proper process in order for you to establish a bond. All you have to do is make sure that you have the collateral in order to back it, such as legal or lawful money, which is gold and silver. They're not hard to acquire. You can buy that shit off Amazon. I don't recommend eBay because you have to verify the seller. And there's bullion. You can go into a pawn shop and start acquiring coins. Some of you have some of this shit sitting around at your house, and you can make $1 million bonds off of this stuff, and you can start leveraging off of it today. So that's just a small tip, yeah. But what I was bro say is just about to ask, like, do you have to lean? What bro say? You have to lean it as a security interest. Yes, that is completely accurate. Yes, you do. So, all right, after the collateral, it's boxes. Everybody does not have their collateral held in trust. If you do, that is a box that you check. For the most part, if you're operating in this situation, it is usually a Baylor-Bailey situation, because you have somebody who is holding the interest, and usually that's mainly because it's usually a transmitting utility situation. Now, I recommend you read all of these definitions, because I will give you my expression of how I understand it, and that's what works for me. That's the reason why I always refer you to the codes and what's in the book, because that is the way it was established. I've been dealing with this stuff so long, it becomes watered down to me. That's why I say, go to the book, learn it, learn it, learn it. There's no way around it. So that's pretty much the UCC one. Now, like I said, now if we're doing business trade lines for my second, now we did the first month. Let's say I asked him for a meal. He give me the meal on paper. Now the first month I'm going to pay him $200K back, right? And then on the UCC3, he's going to, on the loan agreement, he's going to state on the cover page that my debt amount has decreased by $200K. And then we will put this on the UCC3, and then we will turn this into the credit bureaus. Now, there are business departments for every credit bureau. Those are the ones that you have to reach out to in order to make sure that you are sending this information in properly. Now, what I just gave you is a major business key. Major business key. If you set that up right, you have credit. You have business credit. That's something that people struggle for. That will allow you to maneuver in ways that people only dream of. Like, I switch cars so much, that's not even an issue. In all honesty, like, my business situation has evolved to the point where I'm looking at large scale commercial real estate. And all I do is call my bankers and I'm like, well, what does my profile need in order for me to be able to pull down this amount? I'm telling y'all, this is how you do this. This is how you set up yourself for real financial stimulation through your profile, by building and structuring out your credit profile. And we're gonna get into that shortly. So that's pretty much the gist of the UCC situation. Now, we spoke on business. Everybody, well, for the most part, anybody who's been rocking with me, anybody in the class, you understand, everything is a business. You a business, no matter in which we operate, it's all commercial situation. It's commerce. Definition of commerce is an exchange of energy. Right now, we exchanging energy. I got viewers right now on both platforms. So, like, y'all are here giving me your energy. That's one aspect. And also monetary energy. When I give you funds, you give me funds back. That's another exchange. Social exchange, and also sexual intercourse. So, everything that you do is commerce. There is no way to get away from business. This is the reason why we must learn how to properly run our business. So, making sure that you structure your shit out right. Mainly, you having the EIN in place. That's one of the main things in order for you to be able to bank. It is not necessary for you to have a business, you to have an EIN. But if you're going to bank, they're going to want a 9-digit number for that. In order for you to usually get loans, they're going to want to see that your business has shown that it has held or shift through this much amount of money over a period of time. That way that they can feel comfortable giving you so much money. So what you have to do, have to get the EIN number for your business, and there's multiple different EIN structures. For the most part, a lot of us we operate through foreign entities, and that's when we get the 9-digit 98 number. And we call it a 98 because the first 2 digits of that 9-digit number, the other 7 we're not concerned about. The first 2, they are 98. So that's the main reason why we refer to it as 9. Now you call in, just go get the script off the website, yo. Like, it's super simple. Only thing, the main key component that you need in order to get that is a foreign address. And how I told them in the class, and I tell everybody this, the way I got my first foreign address, I looked around the crib and I just seen, I was like, damn, what do I have in here that's technically not from here? And I was like, a lot of stuff that we got wasn't made in America. And I seen, at the time, I had a PS4 sitting over in the corner, and I was like, damn. I was like, where PlayStation from? I was in Tokyo. So I looked at their address and I utilized that address. Then you want to know the main reason why, and I can say this on a record because one of these goofy people from the IRS agency told me this. They said they never verified the foreign address, and all of this for educational purposes, of course. But that's not my fault that they said that. And y'all my people, so I don't mind sharing it with you. I don't work for them people. I am attached to an Indian tribe. I gotta make sure I say this type of stuff after I just said that, because that's the type of shit that bring you some heat, like busting them down for their errors. But they don't verify none of those foreign addresses. But we mainly make sure that we establish them outside of the Hague Convention. If you have questions about what the Hague Convention is, look it up. It's for usually when people are authenticating their birth certificates, you have to register them outside the Hague Convention for you to get verified for authentication. So when you go on your Secretary of State website, when you look up authentications, they will break down what the Hague and the non-Hague conventions are. So once again, I'm giving you the direct place in order to look for this information so you don't have to ask or wonder. And authenticating a birth certificate is super easy. It is not technically needed for everybody, but I'll let you know how to do this because these are always questions that people have. All you have to do is either call your Secretary of State. Don't be scared to call these people. It's always easy to call them. Either call or walk into there, and then all you have to do on the state level, tell them that you want to authenticate your birth certificate for outside the United States. They're going to ask you the country. A lot of people will say Taiwan. Some people say Haiti. The reason why I refer to the non-Hague Convention, because they will give you a list of countries outside of the Hague Convention. So all you have to do is pick one of those, but just to make it simple, utilize Taiwan. So, and I know in Michigan it's $1, and in Florida it's probably $10. So usually I've never seen on a state level more than $10. And then after that, you get your cover letter, and then you can send that off to DC and tell them the same exact thing, and then they're going to charge you $8. So if anybody's ever charged you anything for that, they're a dick, because I just told you how simple that process is. All you have to do is walk into your Secretary of State or call them. So I don't mind. Like, I'm not taking no money from nobody's pocket. If anything, if any of y'all ever pay for that process, somebody's robbed you. I always tell people whenever they call me about that over the years. I'm like, it's super simple. It's I pay you. I tell you, I pay you if you tell me how to do it. I'm like, no, fam. I'm like, it's super simple. You can do it yourself. Keep your funds. So the first way I explained it is on the state level. When you send it in, now if you were born in DC, just do it in DC. But that's if you were born in DC. That does not include Maryland, Virginia, not the DMV area. If you were born in DC, that 10-mile square radius, just do it within DC. Now on the state level, like I say, just call them and then just tell them that you're trying to authenticate your birth certificate. They're gonna ask you for where. You tell them for somewhere outside the United States jurisdiction. Hague Convention, Taiwan. Super simple. So that's just taken care of. We gotta get back to the business portion. So making sure that you have, my goal is to be able to get you in a position to where you can get funding. So like my A to Z is to get you to the money. Always. Everybody want to talk about crystals and shit. Whoop-de-fucking do. We got a lot of people who do that shit. I'm in the money lane because apparently don't nobody understand it takes finance to uplift the goddamn nation, and nobody's teaching finance. So listen to me well, and I'm telling you, this is the type of things that will get you in the position you need to be, please. And if you want a one-on-one, make sure you email me or either go to the website and hit me up in the chat under ituneworks.com. The email is ituneworks@gmail.com. So make sure you get tapped in. So back to this business. After you get your EIN, but first things first, before you even call the IRS, you have to have a name. Come up with a name. Remember, names are different from appellations. Appellations are for living souls. Names are for Christians and corporate entities. Make sure you have a name for your corporate entity that you're going to be conducting commerce through. So let's just say, perfect example, use Voss. We use Voss. When they established Voss, they had to call up and tell the IRS that they needed EIN for Voss. And then after that, they established their bylaws in order for how they're going to run the business and also their articles of incorporation. If you go into the class, you take the class, I'm going to keep referring to it because I built that shit out in order to make things simple for you all. And it's super cheap now, cheaper than it's ever been. And this is not solicitation, but if you're looking for the information, it is for sure there. So just make sure you can Google this stuff, and I tell people you can find bylaw templates online for free. You can find articles of incorporation templates online for free. Google that shit. You ain't gotta take the class, but I just make sure I gave you a structure so you can get it done. Now, once again, after we have those things put in place, and literally all you're gonna do is take your company name, but you have to have a mission statement or a direction or a goal in mind while you're doing this. And it has to be on paper and it has to be clear. Another super key component that you must have, a website. Make sure you have a website. Now, if you don't, it is nothing just to get a landing page to make it say coming soon. That is a major key, because when you go to Dun & Brad's and you register for Dun & Brad's, that's going to be one of the questions that they ask you. Do you have a website? Another question that they're going to ask you is for 2 of your business forms, which usually will be the IRS document and potentially your articles of incorporation or your bylaws. So this is why I'm telling you these things are important, because you having the paydex score is going to that's the shit going to get you money. It's going to get you business credit cards. A business credit card line of credit is always larger than a personal line of credit. One of mine has like 50,000 on it. I don't even use none of these cards, man. I live off a different business concept because I understand how the game works, and I'm working to give you all these tools so that you can understand how we gonna rock this out. Because in all honesty, my business is doing well is not going to do shit for our community, and I'm thankful for all the support that everybody give me, but I need to get other people up to this level, if not higher, so that we can really start busting this shit out. Because I got enough funds where I can invest, but it's way easier if I got 10 more people that come in and drop bread in with me. And then I also, if we can find the right investments, and then shout out to bro, he has sat and got a consultation with us, me and sis, and he has a great business model, similar to something like I just said, and his stuff is already locked up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to coming on board with that, because that's the same type of model that these large scale European companies run. And they bring in investment pools and they just move money. So unless you got a team of people that's really willing to like bust this down, it's very difficult for you to leverage out $1 million on your own. So either we come together collectively and we leverage off of our credit, and then that means we don't have to pay the whole loan down ourselves. So technically, if I go to the bank with my credit score and let's say I'll pull a business loan for $200K, and you're in a position to do the same thing. We all pull 200 down. We all pull 200 down, and then just collectively out of that, what we can all do is put 100 up, and then we can use the other 100 in order to pay it off, in order to knock half of the interest rate down. It's all free money anyway. Change your mindset with this stuff. It's not yours. Your name isn't on it. You didn't sign off when it has a copyright on it. It's all free money. This is monopoly shit. We're here to move this shit. Don't ever get attached to this shit. It's not personal. That's one of the main rules. This shit is never personal. Don't get attached to it. Remember, this is a tool, a mechanism in order for you to utilize so that you can advance and move your family in a better position, yo. Don't fall in love with this shit. It's not that serious. I promise you. Utilize this shit to step up. That's all. That's really what I can tell you as it pertains to that fiat shit, for real. Now, even on the gold and silver, don't fall in love with none of this, please. Now, beyond the business, so we covered bylaws, trust, everything, 9-digit numbers. Now, also sureties for your business. This is when we kind of get into the CPN game. I'm not a CPN teacher or CPN enthusiast. Everything I'm saying at this point, once again, and before was all for educational purposes. I have to be super clear about that because I done seen YouTube videos of niggas doing like lectures and stuff, and then they like, feds come in on their ass like, because people, they be scamming with CPs, and that put like financial institutions in a real bad situation. And if anybody got leverage over getting people locked up, it's the IRS and banks. So what I don't teach people is ways for them to go to fuck to jail. But understand, I teach about options. There's multiple crossroads for you to take. I just exposed the roads, yo. So when we get into credit profiles or credit privacy numbers, you can utilize that as a surety in order to back you in your business situations, just in case if the business does ever fall down, like just like how COVID happened. Perfect example. Today is a perfect example of if somebody had a business, a large scale business. We watched all these CEOs bail out and everything, right? So understanding that when some of these companies filed bankruptcy, most of these people are brilliant enough to know better. But if it was a person attached to it that went and got that business with a social security number established to it, instead of it like being attached or established by another business as a sub business or a trust, because most of these people with money already know this stuff. That's why I'm teaching it to y'all. So if they got it with a social, that means when these people went bankrupt, the individual who had that social, they took some form of hit as well, some form of liability, because they are the owner. If that business can't pay off that debt, it comes back to that individual. This is what we want to avoid. That way we never disrupt our wealth. That way we never jeopardize our children. So this is the reason why we use shell businesses, sub businesses, and also privacy numbers in order for us to operate through, instead of utilizing a social security number, which is a contract that you did not establish, nor that you paid for. Because in all honesty, it was given to you entirely too young for you to even comprehend what the fuck it was. Am I wrong or am I right? Therefore, it is not something that we should be utilizing our contracting with. Therefore, I teach people, and it also states on the social security card, that shit is for government and federal benefits only. So if you apply for an SBA loan and you utilize a CPN, your ass may be in trouble. Now, I'll keep it 100. Y'all already know. Now, if you apply with a social, even though I don't recommend, like, I don't take no handouts from these people, being tribal or not. I don't want shit from them because I don't trust people. Because I do business, you have to provide evidence to me that you're trustworthy. And based on these people's track record, they're not. And I'm just being scientific about this shit. Nick Cannon said the same shit. He ended up apologizing for it. And I felt like he a sucker for that shit too. Should have held your nuts, homie. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all out here being soft these days over a check, bro. You had enough money to where you could have leveraged the situation and where you ain't have to cop out like that. Gotta do better, Nick. Hold your nuts, man. Hold your nuts. So, back to this business. That is a good drink, man. When y'all come out to South Florida, make sure y'all stop at the Rabbit Hole, bro. It's a vegan spot. Like my people, they people from the D too. That is, bro. They got everything. Vegan steak, like it's like fine dining for plant-based people, bro. You said what address would I use for the 9A? No SSN is connected. Like I stated previously, make that shit up, bro. Pick the Morocco Mall. They don't check it anyway. The IRS does not verify those addresses. Don't tell them I told you that. But it was somebody who I just caught slipping on the phone. She just was like, just gave up. So the passport is the best way to nationalize. Somebody asked, is the passport the best way to nationalize? Because that is an instrument that is being, and see, this is why I love these elders too. Because if anybody follow the House of Red, is it the House of Red? I don't want to promote the wrong motherfuckers. I'm gonna say their name. Abdullah Bey and Shem Il, because they teach this actual process, like understanding where the actual jurisdiction comes from, and the rule It is not the United States itself. The United States ain't got no fucking power. That shit come from the crown. That shit's still coming from the queen. Canada is ran by the crown. The United States is ran by the crown. We know this as tribal people because the largest tribal council is up in Canada. And in order for us to get our passports, we have to go through Canada because it's through the crown. We completely bypass the United States. Don't nobody give a damn about them. Like I'm here for business when it comes to them in a situation. So if you want to go through that business and get some form of acknowledgement, you just understand it's still a jurisdictional matter. You're getting an okay or a stamp from this particular entity stating that you are a national in their eyes. You can just go to their boss, which is the crown. You can write the crown in Canada. Nobody said that you can't get a passport from these places. All you have to do is provide evidence of who you are. And that's one of the main things that people don't have in order when they file for their passports. It's their supporting documents, whatever affidavits as it pertains to your nationality. And this is the first time I'm saying this shit on video. If you read the document, it tells you the type of records that you can utilize, right? This is what I'm saying. Like, we gotta do better and we really gotta read. Take your time. There is no rush in this shit, yo. I took years before I was comfortable enough to even come out and start spitting this shit, yo. So when you read that document, please listen to me when I say this. It tells you the type of records that they accept, right? The main one that people try and give is a what? Birth certificate, right? A birth certificate is a warehouse receipt stating that you had a birth or it was some form of property that was born that belongs to this particular state entity, and this state entity has ties to the United States or the District of Columbia, right? So through contractual obligations, that still ties you into some types of United States jurisdiction, right? When you utilize a birth certificate. That's one of the main reasons why some of y'all have issues. Now, if you have tribal certificates, those are accepted. If you have family birth records, nativity records, Bible records of the birth or of the conception of the child, Bible records of that's the we're just gonna move on, okay? All right, go back to business. So you make sure we got everything in order for business, right? Like I say, the goal is to get you the funding. So last thing we were speaking on was the CPN and the credit profile numbers, or just utilizing these things as surety. Make sure that you do not default. The goal is never to run off. It's to make sure that you manage and leverage, because once you perform well with the loan, it will put you in a position to get a larger one. Monopoly. I'm trying to really give y'all the game, yo. Monopoly. I don't know how many of y'all played that coming up. You may need to sit down with your family and really learn how to execute on that game. We're moving around this board, acquiring funds. Remember, so let's really conceptualize this concept. So we're going to utilize the board, right? We're moving around. You have to go around the board one time before you can even start buying real estate. That's the education period. You're getting a feel for what's going on. This is where a lot of you are, right? After you, and this is it lets you know you only have so much time in order to get your shit in order, because you still have to keep moving forward. You have to keep moving forward, right? There is no backwards progression in this. You have to keep going forward when you play Monopoly. And sometimes your ass may fall off in jail, but still you get out and you have to keep moving forward, right? Let's really think about this. So we make our way around the first time through our education phase. Now it's time to execute. Bounce on this shit. You acquire the real estate. You have to start moving. And then it's really, the game here is really leverage. And you managing your accounting so you don't overextend yourself. Because that's when you lose a monopoly, when you don't have no more money in your personal accounts. You can't go to the bank and get a loan in that game. It wasn't that advanced then. It is now. If you have a digital version, you most definitely can go to the bank and get a loan, and you can leverage your property back. I bought it for my son on Nintendo Switch, and I make him play that shit. And please believe he's going to be a beast by the time he's 12.
So, and I love playing it with. I don't care if the game takes 2 hours. We go back and we pick up where we left off because I want him to learn those steps about accounting and understanding how to make those decisions in that time frame. Because if you start overextending yourself in Monopoly, you're going to have to go back and then sell the real estate. That way you can have more funds. So sit down with your family, play that game. And keep in mind, the Parker brothers released that game in 1935, I believe. It was right after gold and silver went out of circulation and fiat went into full circulation. They gave you the platform for how life was going to be ran. That's why I'm expressing this is why you need to learn about that game. It's life. And also playing the game life. I used to play that coming up as well on the computer. Great games. And some of y'all sitting at home, like, do it. That's the best advice I can give. Do it. So, out of credit profiles, out of sureties, trust. This is super important. I have gun trust, I have family trust, I have business trust, I have unincorporated business trust. I am setting up a land real estate trust in order to hold all of the land property right now. So I'm deep in the trust game, and like I make them. So I had to understand what it was and the importance of that in order to show. Even my books, they're attached to a trust. So let me see. Let me go. So this one, like, for those of you, this is a trust, yo. This is a trust. That's an unincorporated business trust, and it's also established as an Indian tribe. It's a whole sub tribe underneath the Erie Indian Mound Builders. And through our acquisitions and ties, we are, well, I'm initially a version of Cherokee, Anawani, and Chippewa. So being, attached to the Susquehanna people. Oh, I didn't even realize this is the book I grabbed. All that information in here in the Erie Indian Mound Builder book. Let me see. It's actually on like the first couple pages. It breaks down all the different names that they call us. So for those of y'all who ain't hip on that, it is a great piece of information. How you get it, I'm like, you can get PDFs, whatever, I don't care, but it's out there for the people. And that's the important thing. Making sure that you put your product out there for the people, but also making sure that you protect and secure your assets. Because all of this stuff goes to the children and it goes to their children because it's attached to the family trust. So all of the royalties that come off of these things, they go back into the family business in order so it can be rolled back into the family business. So this is the main reason why we utilize trust, to ensure that we pass the bag down. Like, this is how you secure the bag. Securing the bag comes from trust. It comes from moving through trust. Because you keep your shit out of court if anything happens. When motherfuckers go to jail, if they shouldn't trust, they can't touch that shit. When people die, if they owe money to the state, if the shit's in trust, they don't get that shit. It goes to the family. It keeps it out of probate. Understand it. Now, let's talk about the key components for a trust. I don't believe we really got into this in the class, but the key components would be the grantor or the creator, the individual who made it. And then also understanding who your trustees are. I don't recommend the grantor and the trustee are the same person. I usually tell somebody find a close friend or somebody who they ain't got no problems with or getting their hands on, who also don't mind walking into a bank. That way that they can actually have them facilitate some of the things for them, because it just looks good when you don't have somebody who's like actually like related to you on the trust. And like, my CFO is one of my trustees, and I have all women trustees on all my trusts, and I don't have no problems. And there's different people on every one. Now, also understanding who your beneficiaries are, that is a super important thing. Who's going to get the benefits from all of the work and the labors? Now, in Atune Works, like I explained in the class, it is my family and all of the members of Atune receive the benefits. So technically, if my company valuation go really high, and let's just say like I'm super old because I'm not about to kill myself off early, that shit. Let's just say like I'm 100 plus, right? And then I just finally just decide to tap out. I'm sick of shit, ready to go. So at this point, I will have it set up to where the trust will establish some type of beneficial aspect to all of the members, and it will pass it on, whether it be a check, whether it be some type of institution, building something for the people, community center. That's the way that my documents are set up to make sure that it's whatever wealth I build goes to my family, then get trickled down until the other people after my family gets what they need. And that's just for one particular trust. Now, my family trust, my family got all that. But for Atum Works, because like there's certain members of my family who are directly responsible, like my aunt, she's directly responsible for Atum Works being partially in this situation, whether it was her helping me get documents when I first started out, like her typing them out because I fucking hated typing when I first started out, or whether it was just her going into the Secretary of State and getting a DBA for me because I didn't want to utilize a United States ID at that time. So, and I still don't, but I found ways around that stuff. But so that's the main reason why, because those people who help you open up the doors, you make sure you take care of them. That's the main reason why I said the pills ain't shit, because they stole that London product and she ain't getting no money off of that. Yeah, I said it. I said it again. Real talk, bro. I was like, how you take a product, especially from the sister, you talk all this, the woman, the womb, and you up your moms like that. How you steal from shorty and you don't give her no cutbacks? That's the reason why the ancestors gonna come fuck y'all up, bro, because you dirty. You cannot disrespect women as the feminine energy and expect for wealth to come your way. This is the reason why these people literally are adults and still don't have shit. And I live a fucking bougie ass, lavish ass lifestyle. And once again, I'm gonna tell you, doing one-on-ones, so make sure y'all tap in. So I'm really looking forward to doing these one-on-ones, though. They're gonna be super fun, though. And, I'm looking forward to being candid, like really breaking down some of y'all business situations. That way I can really help you to build them out. And I just, first off, I hope that you all, whoever do sign up for the one-on-ones, I hope that you're open to people hearing some of your situation on camera. If not, we most definitely can set up a private one. But like I said, a lot of questions that you all have, other people have. That's the main reason why I even started making videos, because I will get the same questions from a lot of people. And I'm like, you know what? I got a reading when I was younger, a couple years back, and that shit told me, it's like, don't repeat yourself. And I didn't really get it. I was like, I'm a teacher. I'm going to have to repeat myself. But doing things like this, it removes that. So even like, that's what Amari really came in the lecture room last Saturday. He kind of came to the spiritual side, but my spiritual aspect, I'm tied into other things. I don't really like putting all my business out there, but we divine and we get answers, mathematical answers through binary code and algorithms in order to see what is the best way for us to move. And by me utilizing this, that is whenever somebody gets these type of consultations from me and they request a reading, those are the most expensive consultations you can get from me, because that takes a lot of energy. And I'm also going to be sitting down, breaking down your natal chart, and also asking what the spirits and the ancestors say to you as it pertains to your business situations, all of this stuff. So that I was actually told it was something that I should actually start doing more for my clients. So I'm actually making sure that I study, that way I can start providing that service on a higher scale to my peers. Because just being able to get those answers that you don't know how to get yourself, it will help you all out. I just want to make sure that I'm receiving the message properly in order to pass it over. That's one of the main reasons why I never used to do it for people, because you have to be responsible when you do readings. And I'm not forever giving somebody no bullshit. And if you know, like I love to keep it 100, yo. And you're going to be respected more for always keeping it real with motherfuckers than lying to them. Regardless, once they get past their feelings, they will always respect you for always being 100 with them over being a liar. And like one-on-ones. Atum Works, hit me up in the chat, let me know, or either go to atumworks@gmail.com. So after we out of CPN, we in trust. So we understand the parties to the trust. I have templates for the trust. Now, I just have a trust template within the class. I'm about to put them in the class too. It is the pieces that the bank require when you go on there is usually the certification of trust, and they want to know the appointments. So it's probably like just the cover documents. They usually look over 2-3 documents, and they're super simple. It just has who the trustees are, who the grantor is, when the trust was established, the address, what type of trust it is, whether it's irrevocable, revocable, business trust, family trust. They want to know that, and also the EIN number. And they also want to see a notary on it. I'm giving y'all so much game. People are fucking sick with me right now because I just gave up so much game. And like I pretty much just took so much money out their pocket. Who the fuck cares? We can make more together. Nobody care about a little $200. Goddamn. I want to get bands. I want so much that my hands hurt, yo. I don't even want to be able to count this shit. And the only way we gonna really knock that down is if we work together, yo. And I promise you, because I see it. I have dreams and visions about this shit. The only way motherfuckers really gonna get bread is by networking and working together. And I do good. I can keep grinding and trying to figure this shit out all by myself. But I'm not stupid. And I don't like being smart. Smart hurts. Etymology, being smart means to hurt. I'm intelligent. Intelligent people don't fucking work hard, yo. I'm not trying to have none of y'all working hard. So we can work together and make this shit super simple and rack up. So this is why we having these conversations right now. So we can establish these businesses. So you come to me with a plan, you come to me with an idea. I help you fine tune this shit and you run off with it. I'm not trying to control nobody's shit, nobody's dreams. I need you to have a business so we can do some business. Otherwise, I'm just giving and giving and giving. That's why I'm a better teacher than these people, because I want to make sure that you actually get something from this shit, yo. Real talk. Like, I'm just saying. No, man, shit's crazy. And then my brother, he just told me that these people actually, they charged $150 for their little joint, but they had sold out. They had a full house. That's what one of my partners told me. And I was like, well, shit, good for them. I was like, I had a full house and my shit was free. And everybody left and was able to like get money afterwards. How I promised. I don't cap. I don't gas. I don't have to lie. I'm really good at this shit. I went to private school for this shit. My people all ran businesses. I had my first business with my son's godfather in 6th grade. We had our own company, name, equipment, and everything. And we was getting it. My people used I remember one time I got suspended in fucking school for fighting, and the damn principal asked me how much money I had in my pocket. I pulled out at least like 100, and I was super young. And he asked my mom, he was like, "Is that his money?" She was like, "Yeah." I've been getting this shit, yo, because I was brought up in having this level of understanding, and I know these are portions and gaps of people that things that people are not given. So it is very imperative that you, if not even me, you find somebody who teaches you these type of life skills. That way that you can correct these situations in your life. And it's really just understand it's small things like you need an EIN number to go bank. You do. And utilizing a CPN to establish the account is completely legitimate. You just have to make sure that you balance it. Don't do no crazy shit so you don't go get in trouble. I'm not telling y'all nothing wrong. It's famous people with CPNs. I wouldn't say I'm famous, but you know, like I look all right, you know. But everybody has the ability to utilize these things. So we just have to make sure that we know our options and we put ourselves in a position to where we can execute. So trust. Now we understand the basis of trust and the importance of it, protecting our assets. Now you have anything that you acquired before you have the trust, you need to get it to the trust. This is another important piece that people don't teach. Super simple shit. Listen, super simple shit. You got a car, right? You own it. You own this car. You're not leasing it. I'll tell you how to do it if you lease it. You own this car. What you do is you go to the Secretary of State or the DMV. You ask them for a title change. Whatever your trust name is, you put that down as the buyer. And underneath that, underneath the name, you put your name or whatever individual you want down as the trustee. And you put TEE on the side of that in parentheses on the side of their title or name, right? The seller, you're going to put whoever had the car previously. That's all you have to do to put it into the trust. Simple shit, right? You got a house, right? You own the crib. Quit claim deed. All you do is quit claim it to the trust name, and then you go file it in your county recorder's office or with the court where the house is located. Simple shit. Then your property's in the trust. Now, if you're going to go buy it, right? What you have to do is go to the first off, don't even waste your time. Call these people. Make sure it's somebody there who even knows what the fuck you're talking about, because a lot of people don't know this stuff. And in most situations, if it's in a trust, they can't lien it. This is the reason why I teach the business week before the trust week, because you can take a business and go buy a car. You can take your business and go buy the car. You just need to make sure that you have all your stuff together. And all you do is you take the EI and everything. But they're going to want a surety. They're going to want to hold somebody responsible with a decent credit score, right? Why not just utilize a CPN that you built out and structured, and just make sure that you manage it and pay the bills? That way, if something like COVID happens, you're not technically responsible if you can't pay, because it's a pandemic and it's not going to show up on your credit and then jeopardize you from moving around, period. Please apply these steps to your life. It'll make shit easy, yo. It makes it easy. That's all I'm here for, to give you the game so we can move together. I done built out pretty good in my little period. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm doing pretty good. To not be 30, I'm doing really fucking good too. So all I want is more people. Like, I want, man, for real, like most of my homies, like who I kick it with out here where I'm at, I'm on a private beach right now. Like, if I move this goddamn green screen, you're gonna see water. For real. So if, like, most of my homies, like, we all do pretty well, and like I really only kick it with like 2 people, and all of us like 6 figures or more. And that's mainly because if the people you around ain't got money, you usually end up paying for their ass. And that shit becomes a damper on your spirit. Yeah, you get it so you can give. I said you gotta circulate it. Yeah, circulate it, not spend it. Circulate. Circulation means to bring back the point of origin. Moju Goon, Reverend Ike, because that's the one who taught me that shit. We don't spend money, we circulate it. But when you giving it out to people who ain't got it, that shit is the definition of spending, because you ain't gonna get it. But can't keep giving people money. What I can give you is a motherfucking plan and some business. That way we can make some change. Because me keep giving from my river, my shit gonna run out. I can't have that. I have seeds to feed. I'm building a big ass agriculture garden. I need the water for my house. But I don't mind sprinkling every now and then so that y'all plants can grow, and then we can farm and barter with each other. This is what we here for. Last section, banking. Kind of got into it. We was breaking down the credit stuff and pretty much just making sure that you can move into the situation. Now, there will be a few of you who actually are eligible for some form of private banking. That will only I will be the only one in order to pass you up to the offshore, mainly, but I will have to kind of get in on your financial aspects in order to make sure that you're eligible, because you need liquid wise, you need to have a minimum of 50K, not $50, 50,000. You need to have a minimum of 50,000 for me to even entertain bringing you over into the offshore account. Like, that is, I remember when I wasn't even fathoming having words like that come out my mouth. When you elevate, a lot of shit changes. Let's move up, because 50K is literally, we make that shit in a month, and that shit gets blown on cannabis and gets flipped probably like 3-4 different ways. So that is low end. That's just one business. That's not including the car dealership type stuff. That's not including the books. That's not including all the other websites, other businesses that we don't even talk about, because, and this is a major component that I told people there as well when we were speaking about how to bring a product from A to Z. And yeah, I'll just talk about that real quick. So A to Z, you have the actual product, which is the water. You have to have a place in order where you put the water, right? So you have your bottle, And then we also have labeling. Labeling and also the type of product that you're pushing really matters, because if you're doing anything along the lines of human consumption, you have to go through a lab. You have to deal with FDA. So that's one of the main reasons why you see a lot of people push t-shirts and clothing, because they don't have to go through all those requirements. Now, there's benefits to knowing who you are and where you come from, having a nationality. All praises to Prophet Noble Jew Ali, because I tell people this all the time. I would not be here if I did not know who the fuck I was, yo. And nationality had a lot to do with that. I promise you. So understanding that right there, there's pretty much 3 types of patents. There are regular United States patents, there are international patents, and there are so-called sovereign patents for indigenous people or Native Americans, like myself. Those are the highest patents. So that's because these people, underneath the United States Constitution, Supremacy Clause, Article 6, Clause 2, treaties supersede the Constitution. Who had the treaties? Our people, the indigenous ones, the tribal people, right? So knowing this, so how you get in the game face, go to growingfarms.com, growingfarms.com, Growing Farms. That's how you get into the Game Face network. So knowing these things, that we have the patents and we have the ability to copyright control our business structure. This is why I tell little sis, I'm like, make sure you got all your nationality and stuff in order as you as an artist, because just your nationality, your status will force them to deal with you differently contractually, because they can't deal with you like you're already somebody's chattel property, nor can they impose these other aspects of taxes on you either. It changes everything. Everything. When I tell you these people treat me the way I should and am going to be treated all the time, because I know who I am, that's what I'm telling you. Like, I'm super thankful. And that right there, just me having my status, it has a lot to do with my commercial situation being in order as well. That's the reason why we got the tribal classes and the stuff, the prophet words and all of that stuff up on the website, because a lot of us are the first people to walk this landmass. And with us being such, a lot of y'all seen that video. I don't know why that video did so well. I wasn't even that clean in that video, man. I had a sweater on. I was in Michigan. It was cold, bro. And I made that video, No More Broke Moors, and that shit's still doing numbers, bro. And you can look back at that shit. I said that shit years ago, and I wasn't even here, bro. I meant that shit. No more broke Moors. Understanding where you come from, you have a responsibility to step up and operate properly. Properly. This shit is ways to get money, but there's a way we do it. That way, don't none of us get caught up in that bullshit system. Because when everything is finally established on our side, the same way how these people put a warrant out for you, we can do the same shit for them. And then when they cross on our land, we can jam their ass up. I just need y'all to have your shit in order so we can do this. Y'all want reparations? We don't need that shit. We got the world. Like, you just gotta wake up. And I stated this in the lecture because a lot of people they have misconceptions about masonry. But one of the greatest things, or one of the best secrets in the world, how a lot of people say, is the Great Masonic Secret. And to me, it's not a secret because I've went through these steps. Like I'm so well versed. When I came through that particular house, I was able to speak and teach that stuff, right? So understanding the allegory behind the system, same way how the Bible is allegory, same way how the Torah has allegory, and even on the walls of Kemet, where this stuff comes from, Egypt. It was based on allegory in a spiritual system for upliftment of man. That's the reason why you work away the rough edges to make the perfect individual. So the greatest secret is that you, melanated individual, yourself, you are buried in a shallow grave mentally. You're dead mentally. You're black mentally, civil little mortus, black. You're legally dead. Did you hear what I just said? The greatest Masonic secret is that you're black. You're legally dead. But they wear a fez in the shrine. I hope y'all just, because I heard it when I said it out my mouth. I'm like, damn. The greatest Masonic secret is that you're black. And you need to be risen out of this shallow grave and move on an upright living perpendicular. Walk on the square. Stand on your square, right? So I'm going to part with that. Peace and love. I hope this was informative, y'all. Like I said, make sure y'all tap in with me, please. If y'all interested in one-on-ones, make sure you hit me up in the chat box on atomworks.com. Please, please, please. And share the video, please. I hope it can help other people so that we all can advance together collectively. And I hope we can do more of this with the one-on-ones. And the email is atomworks@gmail.com. Peace and love, family. I hope y'all heard that last statement, man. Think about that. Think about that. So do Black Lives Matter? I'm leaving. I'm going.